Welcome everybody to the Brooklyn Racing League. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship, Season 16, Round 10 here at Mount Panorama, otherwise known as Bathurst. Practice has been very chaotic, as you can imagine. We got 9 minutes 34 seconds on the clock, and then we'll get to qualifying. Right now you're looking at Jeff Koffold, who is sitting first in class over Elliot Burton, who's in second, and Marshall Scars in third for the Pro-Ams. In the Pro Division, there was a change in the order. Jacob Simmons is no longer leading the gross total points over Ryan Otis. Ryan Otis is now in first. Jacob Simmons is in second. Austin J. McGill is in third. After that, you have the AM Class Division. There's Jason Daly in first. Or Jake Daly. We'll see. Maybe he's here too. Gotta go lower in the leaderboard to find him, but I don't think he is here for this race. Anyway, Seth Hansen, he's in P2, and Aiden Gwertz is in P3. And now I think Eric Koonsman is the fastest driver in the AM class. He's 8th in the overall right now. Jeff is 4th in the overall for the Pro-Ams, and then Trey Mistek is leading the pros. We also know Trey's just doing this for practice. Will probably not end up first in qualifying because he doesn't qualify. Joshua D is first in class, 19th overall, and he's also leading the rookies at the moment with Charlie Bass in second and Felipe B. Nunez in third. Going over to the team championship, Valhalla are still leading with gross points. It's a big one too. The margins right now in total are about 220 points. Oh, no. Sorry. That was the second half net. The overall is 5,200 points to 4,800 points. That's a big one. But that gap can come down a little bit. Austin J. McGill and Jason Daly are sitting second in Austin Squared Racing. Draft Punt Goal is in third, Thunder Thighs Racing in fourth, Team Juice in fifth, No Longer Radio Controlled in sixth, Savage Racing in seventh. Oof. Max Klein into the barrier. 499 Racing in eighth, Midpack Mafia Motorsports in ninth, Tex As Racing Team in 10th, Little Lugnuts in 11, Caffeine Global Motorsports in 12, Bluth Company Racing in 13, Rockstar Energy Racing in 14, Norwell Racing in 15, and G-Spec Racing in 16. I don't think we're not going to see a change there for G-Spec. I don't think that guy has shown up. Colleen Giddings. Anyway, it's 6 minutes, 40 seconds. The times, Max, I don't think that was how you're supposed to take that. Probably not. It's barely paying attention. A lot of incidents are happening up there. Top of the hill. Kind of how it works there. Anyway, Joshua Justice is down there. What we have here is, I hope the race is a little different than what we're seeing in qualifying. Trey Misek is the only driver in the 202s. Peter Flanner is the lowest 203, and then followed by that is 3 other drivers that are in the 203s. It's Gage Hines, Jeff Koffold, and Ryan Otis. And you have Joshua Jablonski, who's in 6th in the 204s, and the 204s are pretty much going to be our higher field here. They go from P6 to P17, all on the 204s, or P18 now. It's a difficult track, to be honest. I can't say I do much better. Hopefully it's not a wreckfest. It can be at times. It can be I think it. We've been here before. We've had some pile-ups, but they're usually. I believe we are running the safety car for this one, so if anything, people will just tow and try to get back into it once the safety car is deployed. Then we go in the P19 of Joshua D and the 205s, and 205s stay for only to P26. Max Klein's the last driver in the 205s. Then it goes 206s to Forrest Holland, only for a little bit. There's a handful of 206s, a lot of 207, or a handful of 207s, two 208s. That's unfortunate for Trey Mistack. But that pro driver can afford to have some mistakes in practice. 41 drivers that enter this race, so it will be pretty packed going up the mountain. Ooh. And as it stands, we have 8 pro drivers that are entered this race, 7 pro-ams that have entered the race, 13 AM class drivers that are in this race, and 10 rookies. A couple of those rookies are actually eligible for promotion, but there's only mid-season promotions and after-season promotions. So, with 3 tracks left, this being one of them, we will be going to... I just remembered it. The Nürburgring GP layout, just the GP. That will be round 11, and then Mugello for round 12. This week is also featuring what's that? Also, no need for the right. No. Yeah, yeah. Max Klein's there. I'll take a look at Max. I'm gonna say it's the Falcon series this week. Paying attention. It is the last race for the Falcon series. It's LMP3s and GT4s. That is going to be at Le Mans, and that's on Tuesday. But as it stands, yeah, Max Klein is out there. He's P26 right now for practice. He's in the 205, so if he can keep that pace up in qualifying, he will at least be pretty scrappy in the race. At the moment, this is just iRacing's idea of who's going to crash. It's very predictive, though. It somehow notices when the driver is... Oh, well, did get into the barrier there. Is giving too much. But it thinks one of these drivers is going to crash on a straight. Isaac Gardner. Oh, nice. Well, you shouldn't have opted out. It's a fun track. And if you could survive, it's just good points. Some people definitely won't make it this full race distance. That is kind of the nature of Bathurst. Only got 45 seconds left till qualifying starts. Yeah, but I can imagine going up the hill isn't... Ooh, what the heck? Is that a Valhalla greeting there? Forrest Holland's with them, though. He's not part of that little grouping. Just goofing off. Alright. 4 seconds left to go. I guess it's not that big of a deal there. That they're just doing that. That's fun. All right, cool. Oh, glad you guys got to see that. Yeah, it was something. And there you have it. Qualifying has started. We're on with Peter Flanner, who's in the Aston Martin. He's 5th in the championship, just behind Gage Heinz, who is in 4th. I think Gage is actually here as well. Yes, he is. So is Austin McGill. John Javecki might be the only one of the pros that I'm... No, he's here. He's... Joshua Jablonski, is it? No, Joshua's here too. Ryan Otis is here. Mark Foley. So we're only missing three pro drivers from this race. It's kind of impressive. Level of consistency out of the 8 drivers. Technically, should be 9. And that driver that's missing is Jacob Simmons. So this might be Jacob Simmons' off. We'll go on board with Peter here. It's going to be the first driver to take us to a hot lap. A long one up the mountain stretch. Straight. Reminder that Peter Flanner was 2nd in qualifying, or in practice, so there's a good chance that this will not only slap him on pole, but keep him there for a little bit. Provisionally, at least. Unless Trey does actually end up qualifying for this one. Into Skyline he goes. The S's. Goes handled rather smoothly. Really odd. You can see some of these times that people have on the board as far as gaps go, and everyone's giving themselves quite a wide berth. Just in case one makes a mistake in front of you, it doesn't really compromise your time. Jeff and John, also Zach, different times on the board for gaps. Gage crosses the line to go in 2nd. Braden Daniels in 3rd. Marshall Scari in 4th. John Javecki 5th. Jeff into 6th. Jax Peterson now into 9th as Ryan Otis is taking the fastest lap. And his livery isn't going. Take a look at that. Do one refresh here. Drivers are just adding to the lineup here. Is Trey Mistak actually out there for a lap? That is the real question. He's going to try to find himself an off track at some point to discredit his laps. You got Michael Soto in 20th. Christopher Chats in 19th. Craig Carroll in 18th. Forrest Hull in 17th. Joshua Justice 16th. Felipe Nunez in 15, Alex Zier in 14, Zach Peterson's down to 13 as Jeff is 12th, Rodrigo Theory in 11th, Brandon Burns goes into 12th, Eric Kunzman into 8th, Mark Foley into 6th, Joshua Jablonski into 4th, Austin McGill's in 2nd, Joshua D into 13th, Alex Zier into 16th, Aiden Quartz into 20th, Steve McAllister 23rd, and those are the all drivers that have been accounted for so far. Max Klein crosses the line to go into 20th for his time on the board. And then we still got a couple more out there that have not set times just yet. Matt Benson being one of them. Scott Weber, another. Tom Smith also. I got Jackson Shalak out there in 11th with that time on the board. And I think Scott is going to be close here. Darius Timms goes into 14th with his time on 24th for Darius Timms. Scott Weber across the line. Is this going to be a valid one? It's going to put him into 26 for his first timed lap. Matt Benson's still not, he's still out there. No time just yet. But he's getting close. Joshua Justice is just ahead of him, who's already set a time on the board. Force Holland goes faster into 19th over Joshua Justice, who's in 20th. Let's see if Joshua can respond across the line with Matt Benson. Both these drivers go. Matt Benson into 8th, and Joshua Justice down into 21st as Rodrigo Theory crosses the line to go into 8th, improving his best time. More drivers that are trying to get across the line now. We have Felipe B. Nunez improved to 19th. Michael Soto improved to 24th. Richard Sweatersky, Daniel Beck went into 22nd. Richard Sweatersky into 27th. Nolan Todd into 31st. That was Lars Tyhouse, who's crossed the line. No time on the board for him. I think he reset. Aiden Gwertz improved into 4th with that time across the line. And Brandon Burns also improved into 9th with that time. Joshua G. also improving to 9th position. So we have Aaron Siciliano. Chris Chitterling. Is this going to be a time for him? It's going to put him 34th. I'll see probably an improvement there from Chris. No doubt. That is a banker of a bank lap for sure. The 210.6. Wow. Trey Mistek did set a time on the board. And he set the fastest time of a 204.466. I'm kind of shocked. I didn't think that was going to happen. Guess Trey doesn't want to spend half the race at the back of the, or in the midfield. Peter Flanner improves, though. He goes into 2nd over Austin McGill and Ryan Otis, who he lost out provisionally. John Javecki improves into 5th. Braden Daniels improves into 6th. Gage Heinz, no response on that last lap. It was invalid, I think. Mark Foley improves into 4th position there. Austin J. McGill for Valhalla. Well, one of the Valhallas. I think it's Austin Squared Racing. Sorry, that's what it is. He is in 1st now. Matt Benson improves into 12th. He was closer up the order, but times are improving out of everybody right now as Craig Carroll goes into 17th with that time on the board. Alex Zier goes into 16th with that time on the board. Everyone else still out there has not... we don't have times on. We have 5 drivers that are in the pits. Michael Soto improves into 27th. Daniel Beck improves to 25th. Tom Smith improves into 23rd. Nolan Todd takes Daniel Beck's spot there for 25th. Isaac, Max Klein, no improvement. He's on an outlap, I think. So I think this is going to be a fresh run for him when he goes back to racing. Aaron Siciliano, though. This is not an outlap for him. Steve McAllister improves into 31st. Chris Chitterling does definitely improve. He goes into 2nd with that time on the board of a 204.3. Definitely one cautious banker lap for sure. Where does this put Trey Mistak and Aaron Siciliano? Aaron Siciliano to 23rd, the 207.4. Trey Mistak retakes P1 the 203.8. And I'd be curious if he ends up following this driver up the hill. And he doesn't. You remember where Max was in practice? Max Klein, I think he best was in the 20s. I think he was like 20, 26 maybe. Somewhere around there. Mark Foley improves. Ryan Otis improves. He goes into second. Over Austin McGill. So this is just this guy's livery. And he doesn't even have... Oh, whoa! Austin McGill. Look at that back. What happened there? Ah, that seems bizarre. Well, is that his time back? So this is just this person's not running a livery. Marshall Scari's in 8th. I don't think I said that. I got everybody, though. Everybody else. Is the track slower? They were second. Take a look at the weather here. Track temp is 48 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is, and definitely hot. In terms of sort of, I wouldn't say, depends on their fuel loads more than anything, because Trey Missack is in a 203.8. There was only 5 drivers in the 203s. Every other driver was in the 204s or 205s. And then he had a handful of guys in the 206s and 207s. It just looks like there's more 206s and 207s and 208s. Were a couple of those as well right now. And I think those seem to be fairly probably the same representation than what we had in practice. Just maybe people were doing more flyer, just hot lapping in practice. I still think we're not done yet in terms of best laps. Ryan Otis did a 204.5. Trey Missack didn't have a time set on that last run. He's going long, by the way, so he's just got nothing but fuel in. Alex Zier did improve with a 205.1 into 12th. No improvements out of anyone on the board, I will say that. Chris Stewart actually is here. I don't think he's gonna have enough time. He's just gonna have to do a run from the back. Michael Soto did improve. Tom Smith also improved, 27th and 28th for the respective pair. Out of that, I don't know. Let's see. What can Austin McGill do? He was in the 203s. Time was not valid, so this is going to be his last run. There's Chitterling in the pits. I think that's going to be his best result. He is leading the Pro-Ams there, though. Eric Koonsman, who's out there, no time on his last attempt. He is P11 and first in the overall. Joshua D is P13, first in class. I'm tired. I jumped out after spinning 3x in qualifying. Oh, that sucks, Tank. Yeah. Definitely does require a bit of focus. So, we're counting down. Does Ryan Otis have enough time to cross the line? I don't think he does. I think this is going to be it. I think what we see is, okay, Marshall Scari is going in. Mark Foley is going to finish this lap. So will Ryan Otis? Or will this take both these drivers? Mark across the line. No improvement. And a 207.6 out of Ryan Otis. No improvement. Peter Flanner definitely crossed the line in time. go again, so we'll see him as one of the last drivers. So maybe Gage Hines and Jeff Koffold as well. Almost more than likely, because they had a big gap there. I guess maybe Brent Daniels. Oof. Yeah. And he did a 2:16.6. I don't know what Trey is up to. He was cutting. All right, well, now we know what he's up to. He's done. Another driver going in the pits. Same with Brandon Burns. Rodrigo Theory is parking it. Marshall Scari. How did Max do? Max Klein went into P28. Sweaterski's still out there. And Jeff. I don't know when that ad break thing happened, so some people might not be able to hear me right now. Yeah, how that works. I haven't been on Twitch in a while. Here in the corner. Richard Sweaterski across the line. Improves. P27 for him. That just drops Mike Klein down a little bit. Max Klein, sorry, not Mike. Max. But Jeff's going in the pits. It only leaves Peter Flanner and Marshall Scari. Oh, Peter Flanner not there. Mark Foley. Can he improve here? No improvement from Marshall Scari. Any improvement here from Mark Foley? That's a negative as well. It's the last one, and he's still going out there. Maybe he just needs to practice. But we have 40 seconds left. It's going to cross over anyway. Oh, there you have it, folks. That is qualifying. Take a look at the grid. Trey Masek P1, Ryan Otis P2, Austin McGill P3, Chris Chitterling P4, Mark Foley P5, Peter Flanner P6, Gage Hines P7, Jeff Koffel P8, John Javecki 9th, Marshall Scari 10, Eric Koonsman 11, Alex Zier 12, Josh Rodriguez 13, Matt Benson 14, Braden Daniels 15, Aiden Wertz 16, Brandon Burns 17, Aaron Siciliano 18, Joshua Jablonski 19, Jackson Schlock in 20, Rodrigo Theory 21, Greg Carroll 22, Joshua Justice 23, Felipe B. Nunez 24, Nolan Todd in 25, Forrest Hall in 26, Richard Swedeski in 27, Zach Peterson 28, Max Klein 29, Tom Smith 30, Christopher Schatz in 31, Michael Soto 32, Daniel Beck 33, Steve McAllister 34, Scott Weber 35, Darius Timms 36. If it goes by this, Chris Stewart 37, John Storer 38, Carter A. Thompson 39, Ethan Coyne in 40, and Lars Tiles 41. If they do end up showing up, I guess we'll see when people start hitting the grid. So we already have Darius Timms and Chris Stewart. Got one driver in the top 5 that's in. A lot of people adjusting things at the moment. Take a look there at Gage, Hines, and Jeff. They are teammates and both doing very well in their classes. Well, I think this is the first time in this season that Trey Mystek has qualified, and he's on the front row and P1. See if he can take the fight to Ryan Otis, who has been fairly well after his stint in the rookies for the first half of the season. You see all the drivers on the on the technically, we'll say left side of the track are all pros for a while, and the ones on the right are all pro-ams. The exception of Peter, who's in a pro-am sandwich. And then you got your AMs right behind, following close in suit. Chris Stewart will be the last driver, as John, Carter, Ethan, and Lars are not joining us. We have 37 drivers that are on the actual grid. And we'll take this. This cam, probably best. See if they are able to take this up the mountain in succession. Already the power's down, and Trey Massett getting a good lead there, but Austin McGill has the line into turn 1, and he is going to try to use it, and he does. He gets on by Ryan Otis, boxes him out, and now it's going to be a side-by-side match here with Chris Chitterling and Ryan Otis, but Ryan Otis does have the upper hand when it goes into this right-hander, Corey Bend, but is he going to lose more than 2? It says right now he has 2 loss, but yeah, that's just a bad... Yeah, he did lose it. And so now he's actually kind of fighting back here. He's side by side, and it is not quite over, but it will be once we get right up into that mountain section, because they're both too wide, and even Mark Foley is getting involved in this. And now Mark Foley goes side by side with Ryan Otis, who is losing pace right there. And now both... Geez, we have 2 wide of Peter Flanner and Jeff Koffel, like, Gage Hines. It's Gage Hines and Peter Flanner, and makes a move up the mountain like that. That's so insane. And what a move that was. And that's a gain spot for Gage Heights there. And further back, you have drivers down a couple. Alex Zier gained 2. John Trevecki down 2. Eric Koonsman only down 1. Matt Benson solid. It looks like everything else seems to be in order. Oh no. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jeez, so we did have a pile up. Now going back to our drivers up here at the top of the order. Man, that would have been way after 30 seconds, and there is no indication of a safety car. And yeah, we're not getting one. There's no flag for that. That is a lot of drivers already out of contention. Jackson Sherlock up a couple in 18th. He's going to try to make another. It's going to be 3 for him. He wants to challenge into turn 1. Kind of sticks his nose into turn in. Challenge for it, and he does, but isn't, I don't think, fully alongside. But here we go. Let's see what happens. And you take Aaron Siciliano, who's just ahead of him. If another driver in the pits as well. Jackson Sherlock gets on by on the straight, on the mountain straight before even getting right there. Forrest Holland has Joshua Justice just ahead of him. And now we're back at it. Drivers at the top of the order are doing fairly well, and they're very close. Battles are not quite set in stone. Looking at one driver who could possibly make another move here. Mark Foley is just ahead of him. Both, actually, the representative times are a little different, but I believe Gage had to make a move to make his time a little bit more sensible. That he was 7/10 instead of 3/10. Don't count Peter out of this as well. He's still right there in the rear. They're close battles here. Braden Daniels, Aiden Gwertz, Joshua Jablonski, all fighting. I just realized I don't even have the right map. Aiden Gortz got passed. Sorry. I wasn't, Oof. If only I was paying attention. I don't have the correct Mount Bathurst map. Sorry, the Mount Panorama map. Oh, that's silly. I was pretty sleepy when I, checked. Oof. I was like, what is this? I'm looking at it. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. Alright, well. Keep going. Some good battles still happening. So we're going up the hill. Take a quick look back at what happened when this race started. It's multiple things, I think. Alright, here's what happened to Brandon Burns. Brandon Burns... I think he lost it on his own there. And... yeah, clipped Steve or Craig there. Steve goes wide. Oh, we got to pile up. Yep, that's just going to be a bunch of people. That was Craig Carroll, by the way, that got hit. This is Craig Carroll's spot. And he just... it's Max Klein was also involved in this. As Max tries to go to the side. Clips Steve, but seems to be relatively okay on the exit of that. Maybe his front end's a little wonky. We won't know until we see him back out on track. Christopher Schatz, nothing he could do. I mean, he's just right there in the middle of it. Daniel Beck also in this as well. He tried to avoid it, but he went the wrong way. And there's nothing you can do. Hindsight's 20/20 at this point. But then here's Richard Swedesky, who goes wide, gets by, and then he hits... he rear ends Max Klein. That's what that was. Tom Smith, who seemingly got through this. Oh, he hit Craig Carroll, and so he goes left, but I think he's okay. We got Michael Soto. Really sensible, but he does tap very briefly Richard Swedesky's rear there, so I think that's almost it. Chris Stewart is also involved in this, but I don't think he actually... some of these won't be actually hits. I think he's fine. I don't think he actually ended up... no, he completely cleared all that. Scott Weber's also in that boat, but nothing happened with these two. They just got through it. Steve McAllister, however, did he get through this? Yes. Both him and Darius Timms just had to make an invasive stop there. They had a... beyond that... oh, Tom Smith had an incident further up. Oh, Tom is not doing well. That tire is no bueno. And that is Tom Smith. And then Zach Peterson into the barrier at the same time. And he's not going to be able to make it go farther than that. And yeah, we're all caught up. Now we'll take a look at what's happening out there on track. Matt Benson's up 2. Chris Stewart's up 15. The big mover and shaker. Forrest Holland's up 6 as well. Movers and shakers. Michael Soto's up 6. Scott Weber's up 8. Darius Timms is up 8. Let's take a look here at Max Klein. Your buddy, he's up 4. Looks like he only has minor damage to that front end, but that rear's got a little bit more, just like a little bit of arrow on the front end, but on the back, he's been hit. Pretty squarely, I should add. Michael Soto is just right behind him, trying to make a move here. So there's a bend to this. And I don't have Wi-Fi to update my map. Oh, that's going to be annoying. Could be affecting his port a bit. We'll see. We'll see. His fastest lap was the last lap he just did, so he was down on this lap by about a second. It's only a little bit. We'll see what happens with Michael Soto here. He's got no damage. Acura versus McLaren. He's been behind him for a couple tenths now. And Scott Webber's going to be, I think, the ultimate test, because that is Ford Mustang that is catching up to both these drivers. But also, Scott is a Pro-Am, and we don't know the abilities of the two rookies ahead of us when placed in comparison to drivers that are already established in the league. So might see a push here for Scott Webber to get past these two rookies. He's already catching them. Further up, you have Jackson Sherlock up 3. Only driver in this little group that has actually passed anybody. Aiden Gwertz. Oof. That was a little bit of a little tap there. Jackson Sherlock in the pen right. Braden Daniels qualified 15th. Still is 15th. Joshua Jablonski up into 14th. And that is just ahead. Eric Koonsman and Matt Benson. Matt Benson getting that inside line. And now Alex Zier trying to make a go here on Eric Koonsman. But Eric finding the defensive limit there. And now these two are kind of bumping there. And that's Joshua Jablonski and Alex Zier, who door bang a little bit. And it's pretty spicy here in the lower teens. Eric Koonsman, Matt Benson's technically leading this in 11th, followed by all these drivers behind. Aaron Siciliano's in it as well. Rodrigo Theory's at the tail end of it. It's a 1 second gap, but between that, though, every other driver here is within 5 tenths, I would say. Or at least, 2 to each other, 2 to 3 to each other. I mean, that is just one gaggle of cars. Aaron Koonsman wanting to hold on to this. He's not even the lead AM class driver, I mind you. Matt Benson made that move at the end of the straight into that left-hander. And Matt Benson's now leading the AM class. Eric Koonsman's in second. He's got a Joshua Jablonski pro-level driver just right on the rear of him. This has got to be kind of a lot. And then you have nothing but drivers behind that are also, besides Alex Zier. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that at all. There's another AM class. There's 2 AM class drivers behind him that will give him a run for his money. Joshua Jablonski has it for the moment. He's ahead, but does he keep it there? Yes, he does. Easy move for him. Got the straight line speed to make that pass. So that's when that sort of stuff happens. We got Chris Stewart up 16 now as he makes another move. And Joshua Justice there makes the pass. A lot of people are going to be making that pass at that spot, especially with the momentum. Now he's just got to keep it ahead. Eric Koonsman's doing fairly well in the championship. He's 5th. He had a rough start in the first round, I would say, or in the first half season. Just unlucky with points and everything, but he did have a few good ones. I think 2 wins, or 3 wins now, maybe. But he can hold his own. It's only down 2. So is Alex Zier. And they have Braden Daniels, who's a Pro-Am driver who's catching him. Braden Daniels is only 9th in the Pro-Am Championship because he has just not raced enough. He just doesn't have enough. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Can he save it? He can't. He can save it, but Aaron Siciliano is the one that ends up losing it there. More. Jackson Sherlock kept it together, but Aaron Siciliano went into the barrier and has a meatball for that one. let's take a look real quick here. Go on gyro of Jackson Schlock making it somehow stick. Too much, too much. Oh, wow. That is something else. It's a little bit more of that curbing down at the end of Skyline into the Dipper, but like, wow. That was spectacular. And for those that may have not seen it, just how it went, here's an outside view of him eating all that curb and then some, and then you see someone else make a somewhat similar thing happen, but not quite the same thing happen there. He didn't eat all the curb there. Aaron just lost it a little bit on the entry. And yeah, that is that. Wow, that is the biggest corner of doom for sure. Jackson Schlock not losing almost no time at all. 6/10 off Braden Daniels. Braden hasn't been able to make any moves here off these 2AM class drivers of Alex Zier and Eric Koonsman. They're pretty much holding their own so far. Scott Weber doing fairly well. Trying to say whether or not he was going to be able to pass Max Klein here in Richard Swiderski, but he hasn't been able to just yet. And these three are getting closer together, as well as Michael Soto and Darius Timms just behind. Michael Soto trying to make a move there down the inside line on Darius Timms, and does so, and gets on by. Two rookie drivers making some moves. Can we see Aiden's point of view of that? Aiden's point of view, Aiden... Oh, of when that event happened? Maybe. Let me see if, he would have passed Aaron Siciliano. So, here we go. Whoa! Yeah, that is a full pucker moment. He barely made it through on that one. And Daniel Beck here lost it. I think that's the penultimate corner. Is it? Oh, that's a turn one. He's back out there though. No change in the order just yet, but Darius Timms trying to make a spot up here on Michael Soto, and does so. Down into turn one, or penultimate corner. What are you even talking about here? And Eric Koonsman opted to pit on lap 9 of 22. We'll see how this turns out for him. He is the second person to do this, as Joshua Justice did it earlier. He's also on an out lap, and Aaron Siciliano is out there as well. Take a look. Ryan Otis only down one from where he started this race, so he crawled back some positions. The only one he really needs to crawl back is Austin McGill, who's 3.7 ahead of him. Chris Chitterling is 1.4 seconds back, followed by Mark Foley, who's a second behind him, and got Gage Heinz half a second off. Here in the top 5, top 6. Peter Flander just behind, 3.3 second gap there. Trey Mistek has now set the fastest time, and he's got a 2.4 second gap to Austin McGill. He's already catching a bunch of the back markers. Not ideal when you're going up the hill and you start seeing them appear in front of you, but Steve McAllister already gives that spot away easily enough without losing time to Trey there. It'll be more rough for Austin McGill there, though, because there might be a section where he can't let him by. In fact, why don't we see that? At some point, Austin's going to want it by. He's half a second off. Steve's going to be predictable. But how can he let him by? Right there? Oof. Massive lift, too. But he did get through. Ryan Otis, he's there as well. But he's already going to be in the spot where, yeah, bud, sorry. What can you do? I think Trey did this because it would be difficult to overtake at this act. Can't imagine. I'm sure it was a calculated shit. I'm sure that's exactly right, but it is difficult, but not impossible. Chris Stewart is P18, up 19 spots, and this is what happens when a driver doesn't qualify but has the skill to get through. I mean, 19 spots up. He's going to hit Aiden, who's 12 seconds ahead of him. It's going to be anything. It's just going to be a rough time trying to claw back some of this time away from these drivers. 13 seconds is a massive gap. We're on lap 10, and it's 13.2. I'll take a look at it, or lap 11, sorry, for the new, and then we'll take a look in a little bit and see what happens here with Chris Stewart, because he is in no man's land right now. It didn't help that that incident that happened basically slowed every single one of those drivers, including Chris Stewart, to a grinding halt while everyone was still flat out. I mean, the majority of them were flat out, and I think that's what shows the most. Is Aaron Siciliano was in the back. It was in the grouping of people that were flat out. So a 13-second gap really does make full sense when everyone else was kind of parking it. Braden Daniels trying to get a move here on Alex Zier. Can he do it? Still unable. You know, credit to the AM class drivers right now. They are being very difficult to pass for some of these other class drivers. And I think it's just always going to be hard for the Porsche to make a move. Especially when the Mustang on the straights, probably just really selling it. Oof. Tom Smith opting for the, hey, if it works, it works. Take a look further back here. Like I said about class battles here. We lost one driver here. That was Michael Soto. He hasn't pit. He's just lost time to all three of these drivers. So we just have only three of these drivers together, and Scott Weber has Max Klein ahead of him, P21, and then 22 and 23 just behind. This is where you'd think the move would happen for these Mustangs. Straight line speed, but that's a 4/10 gap that's not being separated from the McLaren there. It's actually almost being maintained throughout an entire straight. Gage Heinz has been all up Mark Foley's rear for quite some time. It's 2/10, 3/10 gap, now almost down to 1.5. Has been going on for several laps in a row. I can imagine Mark's trying to concentrate fully without having to look where the placement of Gage is at, but these braking zones, you gotta worry. It's two Ferraris versing each other right now, and they're still Got Chris Chidling ahead of them. Hey, Darius Timms gets on by Scott Webber to take P21. What happened to Max Klein? Max Klein is exiting the pits. He went into pit. Lap 12. Well, let's see. Daniel Beck on lap 11. Ooh, that could have been challenging for the race leader, but it wasn't. Craig Carroll. Ugh, his car is gone. Sorry for looking at that one there, Craig. We got some drivers pitting. Let's see how this all pans out. Chris Schierling was ahead of Mark Foley, who is now taken fourth. We'll see where P4 shakes up once he is back out and these drivers are all going for the overcut. Eric Koonsman's a good margin here for where Chris Schierling is. He is about to go down the start straight finish. And Chris Schierling is already exiting down the mountain straight. It was a 35.6 from him. Eric Koonsman, so 22 seconds back for Eric Koonsman. Yeah, that's going to be a good margin there. We'll see. What's the difference from where was Eric Koonsman? Eric Koonsman was next to Alex Zier in P12. Further back, take a look here. Scott is in the pits. Nolan Todd exiting the pits. And Richard picks up one spot. It's actually not that bad for Nolan. He qualified P25 and he's only P26. That said, Scott Webber's out. Max Klein is out. And he got overcut, I should say. He pit on lap 11, and Scott Webber, who he was ahead of, is at a 6.2 second gap. And Scott did a 44.9, and oh, that's weird. Max did a 45.9, a full second difference. It still would have been an overcut, but I think it's just much of a stronger one. There is one instant repair, so one fast repair, so even with the fast repair, it shouldn't have done him in so much like that. Aaron Siciliano now getting in some spots here. Some of these drivers are going into the pits. Further back, Daniel Beck's right back out there in P35. Brandon Burns crossed the line into 33rd. Scott Webber is still in the pits. Oh no, Scott Webber had a tow. What? What happened? Oh no, the worst thing that could happen. That's unfortunate. Scott Webber losing that spot after he just purposely got an overcut on Max Klein. Now it's gone. I'm gonna look at some of the other drivers back here. Brandon Burns in 33rd, Tom Smith 32nd, Steve McAllister 31st. These drivers are all within a second of each other, and 1.5, I should say. And yeah, battle for this goes on. Aaron Siciliano is in the pits. They all just gained a spot. Steve's up now 4. 30, 31, 32 now. Christopher Schatz out there, pit on lap 1. He's in 29th. Joshua D in 28th. Max Klein 27th at the moment. And he's got a 16.8 second gap to Nolan Todd. in 26. Richard Swederski is in 25. Joshua Justice 24. Michael Soto in 23rd. Felipe B. Nunez in 22nd. These two drivers have not pit just yet, so it's going to be a long one for them. Eric Kunzman, they'll probably lose a couple spots. Eric Kunzman in 22nd at the moment. Jackson Sherlock in 20th. Still room to improve as he has Darius Timms 0.6 up on him right now, and that's P19 ahead of him. Alex Zier's even further just ahead, 2-second gap, and that's 18. P18 for him. Forrest Holland is in 17. And we'll see what happens here. Chris Chitterling is now gaining some spots here as he is through and down the straight. He's back into 9th. He's ahead of Marshall Scari, John Javecki, Joshua Jablonski, Matt Benson that's exiting. Forrest Holland has got one of those drivers. Forrest Holland has maybe more than that. No, he's behind Matt Benson. But he picked one up on Alex Zier, pit on lap 13. And Braden Daniels, who's on his out lap, still behind. Was he behind Alex Zier? Yeah, I think he was behind Alex Zier. So no overcut move for Braden here. Matt Benson still is leading the AM class right now, but Forrest Holland P2 in his categories right behind him, 1.1 seconds back there. Rodrigo Theory is one of the only drivers in the top 10 that hasn't pit besides P1 through 4. So what's going to happen here? Mark Foley, Gage Hines, Peter Flanner, and Jeff. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jeff Koffold. And there goes Gage Hines in. Peter Flanner will probably go in here. And then we have Jeff. Where is Trey Mistack? Not far behind. On lap 16. Yep, he is definitely going to collect those positions back with relative ease. They still have yet to get into their box. And it is a foregone conclusion, but how big of a foregone conclusion as this driver is through and onto the mountain straight. And who gets out first? Austin McGill gets back second. Ryan Otis is in third. Mark Foley exiting into fourth, which is pretty strong for him. That's one spot gained. So his overcut actually worked out for him as Gage Hines is ahead with 2 spots gained. And it actually worked out the worst for Chris Chitterling, the undercut. He has now Gage Hines and Mark Foley ahead of him. Peter Flanner lost one, but I think he lost one off initially, so no difference, I think, for his pit, technically. Jeff Koffold, who's in 8th. Chris Chitterling is the guy he's fighting, and he is up 8.8 seconds, so I think he's going to have to settle for P2 on this race. Marshall Scari is behind with John Javecki and Joshua Jablonski. Now, this is one of those moments where you see across class battles, Marshall Scari can hold his own. John Javecki and Joshua Jablonski are no slouches either. These guys will make the moves. Joshua Jablonski, he made a splash his first season here at Broken Wing Racing League, and he will probably make a couple more. And look at those drivers. They are making themselves invisible so that these guys can get by and keep on their... You know what? Good on them for doing it. You bet an admin can't just remove a 1X for them because they don't deserve 1Xs for letting these guys by. Now, who's going to make the move first? On board with Joshua Jablonski probably won't be the Porsche, but we'll see. From his view, is John going to try to make a move here into the left-hander? No, he's going to slot in. Can Jablonski find any way to go side by side in the final sector here? I don't think so either. You power down into turn 1. Or fight them on the straight. And they have only one driver out of them who's a back marker. I don't think it's happening here. These guys are really close, though. Not even attempt to peek out and try to see if he can go side by side. I'd say Jablonski's all 8. Maybe not all 8, but most of those that he got are legitimate passes where he just made moves. We saw a couple of them. Brandon Burns may have crashed. No, I think he just went off into the... Yeah, he was just getting off here, so... He was just trying to make that easier. Gage Hines, Chris Schilling battling down the straight, and it looks like it went to Chris. Take a brief look at that. What happened on the... to make that happen? Gage, oof, he hit the wall. He hit the wall, and that's all that needs to be done. Braden Daniels, Alex Zier, separated by 2/10. Braden would like to make this move. Alex is going to cover off slightly. Five laps to go. Might just have to entertain seeing that back end of the Mustang for the rest of this race. Might be the case for a couple of drivers, because we have another Ford Mustang. I can get difficult for another driver. Ford versus Ferrari. Oh, no. In blink, you might have missed it, and that's more damage. Go to a 2 of this. H. Heinz hit the curbing on entry and yet smacked his right rear pretty good. That's got to be like a limp home too. He's kinking his wheel slightly to the left. I'll do a cockpit view of this. Yeah, he's got some damage. He's got some real damage. Peter Flanner now has a chance here to catch up to old Gage Hines here, who's got... Yeah, hopefully he can make this to the end. He's got 4 laps to go. With a 2.7 second gap. I mean, it's looked kind of manageable. It's only like a slight offset. But that's going to be rough for that driver. Ryan Otis has caught up to Austin McGill. The one driver who passed, or 2 drivers actually passed him off the start. Really caught Ryan Otis sleeping there. But look at him respond. He retook one of those spots. And now he's looking to retake another one. 4 laps to go. This could down to the wire for... Max Klein. Let's take a brief look here at this. Repeat. Oh, Richard Swiderski just went into the barrier, I believe. He looks maybe like he's fighting something. Yeah. Yeah. That's another driver with some damage. End of the race like this, it's not going to be ideal, but Max Klein now up 5 spots into 24th. Speaking of Chris Stewart, 4 laps to go. On lap 11, it was 13.2 second gap, and now it's down from that 13.2 to 3.8. That is impressive. He has caught Aiden Gwertz by that much of a margin. Will he actually catch him by the end of this race? I don't think so. I think this is exactly where Chris is going to have to settle for. 18 spots up, though. I don't even think he can see Aiden ahead of him. See Brandon Burns after the dipper. Oh, Brandon Burns letting him by, and then Richard Sweaterski's also going to have to let him by here, but that's a slow one. That's just... Oh, that was Aiden? What? Oh, I thought that was Richard. Oh. Oh, he had some damage. Oh, that's what happened. Okay. So now he's... That's... Okay. That's making more sense. Now Chris Stewart has Rodrigo Theory 10 seconds up on him. That's not going to happen by the end of this race, but... Yeah. As good as it's going to get there, P18 for Chris Stewart. I probably could call that one right outright. I mean, I think he's fine. Just don't crash, Chris. Say that, but don't do it. Darius Timms had an incident. Yep. It's unfortunate for him. He also had a crash earlier on when he swept that around. Ooh. Really close. Brandon Burns had one as well. Oh, this was the one from way earlier. I don't even think he's in the race anymore. So, I think he left. Bye, Brandon. Rodrigo has been catching Eric Koonsman for a little bit. 7-10 separation, 3 laps to go. It's still possible for him to make this move. Ryan Otis still hasn't been able to get on by. It's half a second between P2 and P3. We say that, but then Eric Koonsman loses the rear, hits the wall, so goes Rodrigo Theory through. I'm not sure how he's trying to cook out, but he's got to hit the reverse button. Is he... I mean, now he's got to wait for Tom, but... Alright, here we go. He's back at it, folks. Just a quick rundown of how it looks on the order. P1 through 4 are all pros. So you can see Trey Mistax leading, Austin McGill in second, Ryan Otis third, Mark Foley fourth. Out of the Pro-Ams, we have Chris Chitterling, who's in fifth, first in class. Jeff Koffold is in second. He's eighth, second in class. Marshall Scari's ninth overall and third in class. Matt Benson is 12th on the overall, but he's leading the AM class. Jackson Schlock is 15th, second in class. Eric Koonsman's 18th, third in class. For the rookies, we got a good one for you. Nolan Todd, Michael Soto, and Max Klein, all P 21, 22, and 23. As the namesake goes on that one, or the numbers go, if you take away the first two and just add that last number, it's 1, 2, and 3 for these drivers. Nolan Todd leading them. That's a podium for Michael Soto and Max Klein. Back when it was universal and we didn't have class splits, we did always have the pros and AMs, but I think we ended up. I think it was the invention of the pro-ams is what it was like. We can't interview I can't interview every single driver that gets on the podium, even the ones I want to. It's like, yeah, it's a lot. It's 9, 12 technically if you want to count the rookies. It's already can be somewhat a lot when it's three, three or four of them come up. Do you think the sweet spot is only when one person cares to take their interview? Maybe 2 or 3. Oh, I'm not. I don't mind. I like when I can kind of pick the brains of each leader and see what was going through their heads as they were going through this race. And Chris Chitterling's doing fairly well right now. He's only down 1. Got Mark Foley ahead of him, but after the pit stops, it's a pretty good result there, all things considered. Wondering what he thinks on how that pit stop worked and what didn't work correctly, is why he got overcut. And Rodrigo Theory has Jackson Schlock just ahead of him, and they'll take that up the mountain. Not a huge gap, but it's a pretty good gap. 7 seconds here for Trey Missak. First half of this race before he even went into the pits was like, I think first 8 laps was 2.8 seconds maybe, 0.5. But he is going to celebrate here, and congratulations, Trey Mistak, for not having any mistakes. Being a very solid qualifying run, fastest driver in practice. I don't know if he has the fastest lap. Yes, he does. There goes Trey Mistak. P1 for him. Austin McGill's going to hold on to P2. Ryan Otis P3. Mark Foley P4. Chris Chierling P5. Gage Heinz just has Peter Flanner on the final corner, is ahead of Peter Flanner. So is a driver with a broken car and gets ahead. P6 for him, Peter Flanner. P7, Jeff Koffold in P8. Marshall Scary P9, who all gets interviewed after the race. Just the winners. Each class leader: Trey Mistak, Chris Schitterling, Matt Benson, and Michael Soto. As apparently that just happened. John Jablonski in 10, John Javanki in 11, Braden Daniels in 12, Matt Benson 13, Alex Zier 14, Rodrigo Theory 15, Jackson Schlock in 16. That's closest to the line right there. Rodrigo did pass him right there across the line. Chris Stewart is going to humbly sit with 20 gained in 17. It's just for all leaders. So we get Trey, like I said, Trey Mistak, Chris Schitterling, Matt Benson, Michael Soto, if they want to join, but it's all up to them. Leave it kind of broad. Eric Koonsman 18, Joshua Justice in 19. Forrest Holland will finish in 20. Something happened here with Michael Soto and Nolan Todd. Nolan Todd's back. He lost 2 spots here. So Michael Soto is going to take the win in class for the rookies. Forrest Holland in 20th. Michael Soto 21st. Max Klein 22nd. Nolan Todd 23rd. Richard Swedesky in 24th. Any other drivers that are still out there? Joshua D in 25. Christopher Schatz in 26. Tom Smith 27. Darius Timms 28. Scott Weber 29. Steve McAllister 30. Aiden Gortz 31. Daniel Beck 32. Brandon Burns 33. Felipe B. Nunez 34. Aaron Siciliano 35. Craig Carroll 36. And Zach Peterson 37. Just one person I wanted to talk to, Chris Schitterling. I mean, what a fantastic run. I did have one of my most pressing questions was what happened with your pit stop? Why was it so different? Was the overcut just more powerful because, I mean, you're P4 and you went in and then you had to settle kind of for P5?
Thanks, Jason. No, the overcut was definitely not the goal there. I ended up getting a little bit of wheel damage that was making my driving a little bit unpredictable. So I was like, I might as well pit a little bit early, get a good car back under my feet.
I mean, yeah, and that's what it seemed to happen. It was pretty good for you. I mean, overall, you're able to get past Gage Heinz and make that move. Was it kind of a struggle seeing him in your rear view for a little bit.
Yeah, that was bit of a struggle. I was really trying to catch Mark there at the end, but Mark is very consistent, and he kept going.
Nice. I mean, congratulations on the class win. I know it's been probably a struggle seeing Jeff always take some of those wins away from you guys, but it looked like you had a lot of strengths here. Something you just had a little bit over Jeff, and I mean, what a great finish. I mean, fifth, first in class, fifth overall, and then Jeff and Marshall, your rivals, they're eighth and ninth. So it's gotta feel like kind of good to have a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, it feels very good. I think I've been close to Jeff a couple times, and then have made mistakes, sadly. But definitely good to get in front of Jeff. They're very quick.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you, Chris, for joining me, man. That was a fantastic run. Yeah, like I said during the thing, I was like, I wonder what I was like if I could ask a question.
Yeah,
uh,
baby.
if I could ask a question, that's the question I was going to go for first. Thanks, Chris, for joining me.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Mhm. Trey Mistak, what a clinic, finishing 7 seconds ahead of your rivals. You managed to do a qualifying round. How'd that feel? Actually trying to go for it because I was kind of shocked.
Um, I wasn't really sure I was gonna qualify. I didn't really decide on it, and then last minute figured I'd go for it. Definitely still rusty though, that's for sure.
How was it for that start? You got a good clean launch, and then your rivals ended up battling each other side by side up the mountain. So that kind of gave you a little bit more of a some room to breathe. So were you seeing that in your rear view and just trying to keep a focused head for yourself?
Yeah, that definitely helped me out, especially with the setup I was running. I had pretty low wing, and the rear was very sketchy on cold tires, especially on a super hot track. So them fighting just gave me a bit of time to get some temp in, and then by the time they stopped fighting, I could push full.
Yeah, and push you did. It was fantastic to see. I think I took a glimpse of you at one point, and a back marker crash in front of you. Was that kind of scary? Was that the only time it happened, or or were you kind of okay?
I shit my pants.
Okay, because that one was pretty close. I don't know if I think a lot of other back markers gave you some blue flags went your way when you're going towards the mountain and everything else, but yeah, I mean, I saw that he went across the track like that, and I mean, that's got to be really hard to predict.
Yeah, luckily I think he stuck to the wall and didn't get in Austin's way there because he was pretty close too.
Yeah, he did stick in the wall, and he kind of held it there, and then I think he ended up opting to toe to the pits anyway. But I mean, congratulations, Trey. I mean, what a fantastic finish. I thought, maybe Ryan Otis and Austin McGill would have, given more of a battle, but they were battling each other so much that it kind of just gave you more room to breathe at the end of that. So again, congratulations and well done, man. That was really cool to see you back in the booth.
Thank you. Hopefully tomorrow I don't wake up and hear that my floor plank was too warm.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Trey.
Thanks, Jason. See ya.
Yep. Matt Benson, congratulations. P13 on the
Jason.
overall. First in class, Jackson Sherlock was 16th, Eric Kunzman with 18th. So your rivals were a little bit different there. You had some room to breathe with Alex Zier, Rodrigo Theory behind you. How was that, by the way? Because I think at one point you had at least three pro-ams that were all just right on your rear, and I think you even had Eric Kunzman, or you had one. I think you had one AM class driver. I just can't remember specifically, but it would either been Eric or Jackson, no, or Alex Zier. I think it was. I think Alex Zier was next to you.
I was gonna say Koonsman was with me most of the race. We had some fun with it, but yeah, there were a couple pro-am guys that were around that, it's like Long Beach on crack with how small the track is. There's no walls immediately there, but you get up in the mountain, it gets pretty sketchy. But it's a fun track to race, and glad it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're glad it's over. I mean, that was quite the calamity at the start of that race. I'm sure you didn't see it yet, but it turned into a parkade right there at going up the mountain. I think after like turns 6 maybe is what it was. I think way
Yeah.
before Skyline, but yeah, it was just it was a bit of a toss up there, and kind of surprised there's
There
no
was
safety car. But
Yeah, I kind of was too. I think they already messaged something happened with the code of the safety car, so I hadn't really read through anything. But yeah, there was somebody that went off in front of me in the first lap, and then Forrest was behind. We were in chat together and was saying there was a pretty big coming together back there. So I didn't really see anything on my part. I know pretty early on, Alex Zier had, I guess, some contact with the wall or something, and went from I think first in the AMs to like third or fourth
yeah,
up the mountain. I'm not sure if you caught it or not, or know what happened.
I think I did catch his. Yeah, I did because he flew into the. Oh no, I think that
Like
was Tom
third or
Smith.
fourth lap, maybe. I
Yeah,
think.
it was somewhere around there. I did clip back to it, but I'm kind of confusing with Tom Smith also went off somewhat similar in a similar fashion. So like between the two of them, I'm like, yeah, it was one of those. But
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where you see a yellow flag, especially when you get up to the top of the mountain, and you're like, you can't really look to see where it is on a track map or anything. You got so much going on, anyways. So you're like, where's the code brown?
Absolutely. It's one of those, especially when I went onto some onboards. I think Aiden had a one of those Code Brown moments. I know Trey Missack did as well. There's a bunch of people that were going off in front. Jackson Schlock was able managed P2, but he had a massive overcorrection at Skyline and was basically going to the barrier, but somehow kept it out of the barrier. But
Yeah.
yeah, you'll probably see. But I mean, congratulations on that win. It's going to get you some good points for the remainder of the season, and can't wait to see what happens there, Matt.
Yeah, me too. Appreciate it. Thanks for streaming, of course,
Mhm.
and hopefully see you again soon.
Yeah, see you hopefully in the next round. Take care.
I know. Yep. See ya.
Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate y'all for joining us. And like I said, it's going to be the last round for the Falcon series this Tuesday, and that's going to be really fun. That should be really cool. Did I say that was Le Mans? I'm pretty sure I said it. Yeah, it's Le Mans. And then we got ARCA Oval Racing on Wednesdays, and because of Thanksgiving and everything else, I think everything else is gonna be postponed. I don't even think we might do the Sunday one that's coming up. I think that might be until overviewed. It's gonna be on November 30th is when we're gonna get to that one. So thank you for joining me, everybody. That's gonna be at the Nürburgring GP layout, and have a good evening.